Hello friends and relatives, I am making this video about how I put together my Telecaster publicly available with the hopes that it will inspire you to build your own instrument. I have included links below this video that will hopefully get you started on your journey of making your own guitar. Even if you decide to buy one of the less expensive Chinese kits, which I heard are fine, I still recommend that you go to, say, the Warmoth site and see the bodies and necks that they have available. They allow you to organize them by price, by weight, and by style. I will say that looking at the cheap kits is what got me started into building my own guitar, until I found out that a lot of people replace the tuning heads, the pickups, and the pots. And for me, I just wanted this to be the guitar, not a guitar. And so I spent more and got stuff that I really wanted, and I'm really happy with the results. So the first thing you need to do is get a list together of all the parts and pieces that you need, and then start ordering. I could have done that a bit more efficiently. I will say that shipping costs started to be a real bummer towards the end of this project, because it's all specialty gear that you're buying from individual places all around the United States. So get your parts and pieces together early before you start ordering. And let's look at the prices. So here we go. Not cheap, right? Yes. Warmoth is a company that is based out of just near Tacoma, Washington, and they're in the business of putting together beautiful stuff. They have good customer service, and I would buy from them again. It was a great place to begin my project. I purchased my nitrocellulose lacquer, the gloss and satin clear coat, and the butterscotch from the same company, Re-Ranch. Good stuff. I recommend it. They have a lot of the classic Fender and Gibson colors available. For the tuners, I went with Hipshot. Designed here in California, made in South Korea. They are known for their bass tuners. They make great guitar tuners as well. I just think that they're a good, unique look. You can also change the buttons on the top to look more like Fender, or they have a few different designs. And you'll see that I went with the Tone Ninja nut. Ideally, you can make your own bone nut or have a local luthier do it, but I just went with Tone Ninja, and I'm really happy with it. It was nice and easy. It slid right into place. No fuss, no muss. For the pickups and pots, I bought the remains of a disemboweled Telecaster Baja. It has an S1 switch that I thought would be neat, although I'm going to remove that soon. I just don't really like it. It doesn't put out tones that I like. The bridge pickup is a broadcaster. You get a lot of that classic Tele twang. The neck pickup is a twisted Tele, which is a pretty stratty Tele pickup. But my entire guitar is pretty stratty, so it fits. I like it. It sounds great. Also, I totally recommend buying pickups used. Why not? There's a lot of people who take guitars and just take the guts out of them and sell the pieces. And if there's a particular Tele that you've been lusting after, I can almost guarantee that you can find the pickups out of a similar Tele online, either on eBay or on Reverb. So here we go. This is my first look at the neck and the bits that were sent by Warmoth. The pickguard came in an envelope. Everything else came in a triangular box. Here is my bridge. It's a Gotoh 6 saddle bridge. I bought that for ease of intonation. You can argue that it is not as classic as a 3-barrel bridge, but yeah, take that up with Keith Richards. I'll wait. So with Warmoth, you can picture the neck that you see on their website. This had some tiger stripe flame on the headstock. It has flame near what I guess you'd call the foot of the neck, and it looks great. I'm really happy with it. So I'll admit it, I was excited, and really when it comes to projects like this, I have very little self-control. I just reached over the shelf and grabbed some Dutch Masters stain. I believe that this is Puritan Pine, but it could be maple. It's just the stain that I had. I wanted to make the flame pop, and so I put on a thin layer and rubbed it off fairly quickly, and let's see what the results are. Look at that. It worked. I did the same thing to the front, and this is sped up 20 times, so it's not quite as easy as it looks, but, you've already seen it. Here we go. Look at this. Ah! Whoa. Just sexy, right? And then the body showed up. Thank you, Warmoth, for the delayed gratification. So for you unboxing people, here we go. It was a wonderfully corrugated box. So it's hard to get a 46-year-old man with a wonky thyroid giddy to the point where he's almost giggling. But I will say that this body did that for me. The workmanship is wonderful. It's an ash cap on top of an ash body that has been chambered. It's been drilled out in spots that will allow it to maintain the structural integrity. It's got a rib cut. It's got an arm bevel. It's got the bevel right at the base of the neck there. And it's just gorgeous. It really, I don't think you could ask for anything more craftsmanship-wise. So knowing that this was my starting point for this project was just great. I was really excited to get going and get working on it. Here are some stills just to show what we're working with here. Just beautiful craftsmanship. And fantasizing a little bit, looking a little bit ahead. The first thing I did was put sanding sealer on it. To tell you the truth, I don't know if I'd do this again. I wanted to darken the grain up, and so I was concerned that the glue that I was going to put on, the glue and the paint mixture, was going to penetrate a little bit too far, and I didn't want it to do it unevenly, and that is why you put sanding sealer on. I don't know how helpful it was, but you know, the internet forum said do it, so I did it. So this is just me rubbing sanding sealer on over the whole thing. This is a before shot of the guitar. This is acrylic paint and Elmer's glue mixed up into something that looked like mud, but I didn't want to darken the grain up in a black way. I wanted to darken it up in a brown way. So this is what it looked like after I smeared all of this glue on there using a credit card. And you can tell that it's darkened up after I've sanded it off. I will show you what my glove looks like. There it is. That is after panic sanding all of this ugly paint off of this beautiful guitar after I put it on. And you know, goal accomplished. It darkened things up really nicely. Just not too much to where it was black, but just enough. So I taped off the fretboard because I wanted a satin finish on the back of my neck. I'm just cleaning the surface with a microfiber cloth. And what you don't see is how much I shook that nitrocellulose lacquer before this. I shook it for about 2.5 to 3 minutes. Because again, that's what it said to do on the forums. You'll notice every time I use the spray paint, I'm starting off of the neck and then running a smooth line over the neck. I wanted a very thin layer on the back of the neck because quite honestly, I look forward to the day where I wear through it. The Warmoth warranty guarantees the neck as long as it's coated. If you leave it uncoated, I'm assuming that they're worried that moisture will get to it, etc., and it'll warp. So let's just assume that I decided that I really wanted to get that first butterscotch coat on the back of this guitar and see what it looked like, and didn't film it. You can see that I taped off the bridge area. Apparently Eric Johnson does that because he wants his bridge attached directly to his guitar without any paint in between the bridge and the guitar, because he figures that that might affect how the strings react with the ash. And you know, why not? I get one shot at this. I'm going to tape off my bridge. Again, you didn't see how much I shook this paint. I shook it a lot. And you can see that I always start spraying off of the guitar and then go full length of the body with thin coats. Thin coats. You're not going to hit it all the first time, and that's just fine. Drips are terrible. You don't want to deal with drips. So thin coats every time. This is second coat for the front. Yeah, that was a pretty chintzy coat. Yep, let's get back to it. Yeah. Oh boy. Oh, going against doctrine right there. That's okay. I didn't wind up with any runs, so all is fair in love and war. Just a few things here. You can see the handle that I put together just with a scrap of 1x2 and some screws I had laying around. I wound up painting the front and the back at the same time, and then I would hang the guitar. It just seemed more efficient that way. And going into this, my goal was to not have a thick layer of paint on this guitar. I wanted to be able to see the wood grain. And also, frankly, I wanted to be able to wear through the paint. At the time that I was doing this, road worn was a big trend in guitars. And I like the idea of being able to wear through my own guitar through years of use. I don't like the idea of paying somebody at Fender to hit my guitar with a Dremel multiple times and wear through it. Not that that's a bad thing, it's just not my thing. I would argue that the worst part about applying nitrocellulose lacquer is the wait time. Once you've applied it, it looks like it's dry, it feels like it's dry, but apparently it's not fully cured. So you don't want to pick it up and get a bunch of oils from your hands, etc. on it. And so your guitar winds up hanging there and you can just stare at it lovingly and you can't really touch it. I decided to install copper shielding during the downtime. I bought the shielding at an electronics store in the town that I lived in. I would not necessarily recommend that. It wound up being a lot more expensive. I mean, it's high quality. I think it's stuff you can use on circuit boards, etc. But there's places you can buy it online that would be a lot less expensive. That being said, it's been a very, very quiet guitar. I did use the gloss nitrocellulose lacquer on the neck on the fretboard. Wanted to let you know that. This is a project that I did in the summertime, so hanging it outside in the garage was perfect. We had really good dry weather for drying. There it is outside. As we all know, tuners can make or break a guitar. If every time you pick up your guitar it's out of tune, you're not going to pick up your guitar as often. I've been playing these for a year and a half and they have been great. And I just think they look great as well. So I highly recommend Hipshots. Here are the staggered pole pieces. I just wanted a cleaner look on my head without string trees. And I purchased string trees, but I have not had to install them. The strings stay in the nut just fine with the staggered pole pieces. I've been really happy with these. The company I purchased the Hipshots from, I think for $5 or $10, sent a new set of buttons that were a little bit more Fender-y. These aren't quite Fender buttons, but I was able to replace them for cheap. So I didn't film the wiring all that much. I twisted up my wiring for hum canceling and to pull it through. Pulling through the wiring actually wound up being a bit of a pain in the butt. Especially with the S1 switch, there's an extra couple wires in there that made it difficult. Now the only thing I want to show off here is notice the little extra alligator clip that I have hooked up to my drill. I use that as an extra set of hands. It came in really handy. And there they are actually installed. There is the Hipshots and the Tone Ninja actually installed, front and back. And that's it. That's what it took to put together this guitar. The only thing left to talk about is the case. I was down at my local guitar shop and they had a bunch of cases that were on sale and I saw this one and I said, wow, how much is that? And I think it was $80. It had a broken buckle on it. So I said, and I went outside and I called the company that made it and asked if they could send an extra buckle. Got that all set up, went in, purchased the case, and replaced the buckle when I got home. So there we go. That is my guitar. That is my case. And I'm sticking to it. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope it was informative for you. Any questions, post them below. I'll see if I can get to them. And, be well. Do good work. Thank you. Bye.